The intro is me saying intro.
Thank you for listening to the intro.
This is the end of the intro.
It's not a good character study, and I'm not saying every movie has to be, but this one is really good because it's a good character study of him.
Yeah, I mean, you want a story you can go along with, you can believe, and you can kind of cheer or, be sad with the character. You don't want to just be like, oh, well, cool, they're fighting. You can have those if you want, a blockbuster. That's fine.
But especially...
Sorry.
Well, no, I don't mean to cut you off, but I mean, especially for, relatability. Peter Parker, as I said earlier, is supposed to be the one who's relatable. Mm-hmm. He's not the billionaire Tony Stark. He's not the super soldier military guy Captain America. He's not a god like Thor. He's just a kid.
Yeah, superpowers or not,
he's just a high school college kid, and he's just trying his best, and that's what a lot of people are, and that's what a lot of the demographic is, that especially loves that movie, are just people in their young 20s just trying to figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because that's who we should be relating to, and in this one we do relate to him.
Yeah, even though, like I said, I'm beyond that age now, and even when I was younger, I still understood it, and I was still like, yep, I've seen people go through those kind of, emotions and those problems. I haven't been through it yet, but I can understand that it's not fun. And, to touch on, his, basically his duality and what he's trying to accomplish, when he goes back to, save the little girl in the burning building, he doesn't have his powers, he's not dressed in the suit. He goes back to do it anyways as Peter Parker. But then, it's triumphant, he has it, but then they, comes out and they're like, oh, well, somebody got trapped on the top floor. And he kind of has that moment where he's just, thinking, well, I probably could have saved that person, too.
He's like, I could have done more.
Yeah, I could have. And there's those moments like that one and the Aunt May scene where she says nothing. She just kind of pulls her hand away from him and walks off.
Yeah.
Those scenes are beautiful, and there's so little to them, but they speak volumes into the story and to the characters, into how they're feeling. And I think that's what, sells it all. That's what great movie cinema is all about, is those kind of moments, not the big spectacles, even though those are cool. We wait for those character moments because that's what we want most.
Yeah. We want to be able to relate to them in some way or another. And, I mean, there's movies where you don't relate to the character and you aren't necessarily, meant to. But every good movie that is, lauded by critics and by audiences something about it that draws you in and makes you connected to the characters, And so this one does it perfectly. I think it's.
So, yeah, I mean, I could go in depth with this one a lot. Because I probably am going to talk about it, but...
There's a lot to dissect about it.
Yeah, there's so many layers to it, and, what's great about it, too, is they didn't have to do... Now, I think what I saw a lot of was, they got the origin story out of the way, they got, that done, so now, with the second one, they were able to kind of expand and do something like this. And the action and the visual effects are still great. I remember, because I did rewatch it, too, recently, and I was like, wow, the train sequence, ooh.
Yeah, it's good.
It's so amazing.
That's the climax of the movie. It's not some... And that's what I love about all these Spider-Man movies, especially these original three, is that it's not like some current DC or even current Marvel movie where it's some big CGI fight scene and a lot of, or just guys doing karate against each other, like you see a lot of Captain America movies.
A lot of quick cuts, you can't see what's going on.
Just giant CGI monsters that you don't really understand the scale of and stuff. These are grounded, small-time fights that have depth to why they're fighting.
Yeah.
It's not just Otto Octavius and Peter Parker fighting because, we're here. Like I felt in Batman versus Superman, or the whole Save Martha thing.
Yeah.
The reason that they end up empathizing with each other in this movie is because they actually have common ground.
Yeah.
And Otto realizes, he kind of snaps out of it and goes, yeah, we do need to stop that machine. We need to solve this problem. It's not some cheesy moment. It's because they actually have character behind them that has led them to coming to an agreement about the ending.
The plot, the plot sets it up that way. That's why you have him at the beginning as, just a regular doctor trying to help, and then goes mad, and so you have that, exactly what you said. You have that moment at the end where it's perfect, where it fits, and just the CGI at the end though, where he's going in the water, that looks kind of wonky.
It looks a little whack, but it's also. I can get past weird graphics and weird tech end of stuff if the story behind it is good.
That's nitpicky.
And it really is a good story. Maybe the sun being in the apartment building or whatever doesn't look that great, but at the end of the day, it's a well told story.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't get too mad at that.
It's what a lot of directors want to do. They want to add style to their stuff, but a lot of them just add just the style.
Yeah.
Michael Bay, obviously, is the worst at it, but yeah. So let's. Again, I don't want to go on too long on this one because it's great. we both agree.
So that's the whole thing. Number 1 and 2 had some great villains.
Yeah.
And the villains had motive that locked in specifically with Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
And 3, unfortunately, missed the mark. When it had been set up to perhaps do it well, if you pull Venom out entirely.
Exactly. That's a lot of what people say about